Hello, YouTube. I was reading a local newspaper here called the Shoshone News, and had an article in there by one of our tribal attorneys on sovereignty and what it is, and I wanted to do a quick YouTube video on sovereignty and ask the viewers their opinion on my idea for like maybe a 5 or 6 part series on tribal sovereignty and independence. And this is something that's actually been on my mind for quite a few years. I once applied for the tribal director planning position, and I didn't get the job, but I was in an interview, and I got asked the question by the interviewers, what does the tribe need, and from your opinion? And I answered it by saying, at that time, it's quite a few years ago, that the tribe needs focus on 5 areas of security. And those 5 areas are energy, water, food, homeland security, and economic security or sustainability or resiliency. So those 5 areas: water, food, economic, energy, homeland security. Those were the things I said that the tribe needs to do, and it might have been why I didn't get the job, because I said basically the tribe is failing in those areas. And I still think in a lot of ways we are. And I say that because I was reading the economic impact report that was just released, I think, this year, on the 5 tribes of Idaho, and there's a lot of money being generated by agriculture on the reservation, but a very small fraction of that's actually being captured by the tribes or tribal members. And the dollar turnover is pretty much non-existent here on the reservation. By what I mean there is, like, when that money is made here on the reservation, it doesn't get spent here. It gets spent off the reservation. So it'll be spent in like Pocatello, Idaho Falls, and basically as soon as the money's made here, it goes out. And that's an impact upon economic development, because the more it turns over in a specific region, the more value that dollar adds to that local community. And so I was looking at that, and we have like the 1990 Snake River Basin water adjudication. We have water right there, but when I used to work for the tribes, I remember I asked the BIA and got information on it. I don't have the information, but almost all the water that is, I guess, the tribe's water right is used by non-Indian farmers, and they're the ones making that big economic impact on from not only the tribe's water right, but also from land on the reservation. Some 90,000 acres of land is farmed on the reservation, and only, I think, roughly like 2,500 acres are actually farmed by the tribes themselves and for irrigable ag. And then there's a lot of areas. I talk about this, but I'm thinking of making maybe a 5 or 6 part series. I say 6 part because I mentioned those 5 areas: water, food, economic, energy, and homeland security. But another one since then I've been thinking about a lot is human capacity. And by that I mean, can our community, are we healthy enough to provide those 5 areas of security? Can we do it? And if we're an unhealthy population or unhealthy community, we're going to have a hard time providing that security for ourselves. We'll be dependent. If we're and I guess what I'm saying there is, like, if you look at the numbers, how many people on per capita basis are addicted to drugs and alcohol, and you think about the drain and the the impact that has upon not only the individual person, but their whole family. When one person's addicted or using heavily, it affects everyone. And so you look at the per capita numbers, that's it's hard to focus on things when you're dealing with that. And also, like if you have if somebody has a chronic illness like diabetes or some kind of debilitating illness, you know, they're not going to be able to physically do anything, do that kind of work, and contribute in those areas. And so if I was asked that question again today, I would say we need to start thinking about also human capacity. And then another area, the seventh area, is like, so how do you get to that? And so the way you, I guess the only way I could think of getting to it, because I've had my issues with alcohol and drugs growing up here in Fort Hall, and I'm a recovering alcoholic, and I've been clean and sober, and I'm happy to be clean and sober, and but I know that it's important that what helped me was starting to learn more about my traditional language and culture, and being involved in ceremonies and spirituality, and learning more about that and my own family history, where I come from. And so I think our language and culture has the power to help us get ourselves out of that rut, that cycle of that has stayed with us. That's a wicked thing that has stayed with us since colonization. And I think a lot of it has to do with the loss of identity. For example, men especially have lost their identity as warriors in the community. They were once they made the decisions, they were protectors, they were the food getters, and when they got put on the reservation, their guns were taken away. They were made to be farmers. They had to do farming and do something that wasn't part of their cultural norm, and it broke them in a lot of ways. Not all of them, but I think it had a huge effect upon their mental well-being, and it destroyed the community dynamics and the community culture, and so now we don't have these distinct roles between, like, for example, the man having a role and the woman having a role, and also children and elders. You know, our traditional cultures had distinct roles that they would follow, and it survived for thousands of years that way until colonization messed it all up, and we're still dealing with that. But we got to come out of it. We got to figure it out and get out of there. We've been in it too long, and so that's the other one, the other area. But what I was thinking about doing was driving around the reservation and kind of maybe focusing on one of these areas at a time. And I'd like to hear your input on this idea, like, what could we do for water security, and what could we do for food security, energy security, economic security, homeland security, and how could we improve our community health and well-being, and also maintain and enhance our culture and language that makes us distinct. I quickly wanted to say we still got some hamburger left for sale. This is burger that our ranch here, Chokecherry Ranch, produces and sells as beef. We grow it here right on the Fort Hall Indian Reservation, and we sold out of our steaks, and we're keeping some of the steaks for ourselves, but we got some burger left here, and so let us know. We might be able to get rid of some of our short ribs, and we got a flank steak down there, but let us know if you're interested in some beef. And I'm going to put a couple videos about the animal, where this meat comes from, at the end of this video. Thank you, and have a great day. Bye.